Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the alligator skull, and we're going to start off with our dorsal view, and we're going to start anteriorly and move posteriorly. So anteriorly we have the premaxilla here, and then posterior to the premaxilla is the maxilla. So premaxilla and then maxilla. Over here we have the nasal bone, so these nasal bones are going to come over top of the nares a little bit, right? So this is going to be your nasal bone. Then we have our prefrontals. This is a prefrontal, this is the left prefrontal, this is the right prefrontal. And notice that the prefrontals sit sort of lateral and anterior to the frontal bone. So this is the frontal bone. So prefrontals and then frontal bone. Lateral to the frontal bone, we have a lacrimal bone. So this is the left lacrimal. Over here, we're going to have the right lacrimal. And then lateral to the lacrimal bone, we have this bone here, which is the jugal bone, which is homologous to the zygomatic bone in mammals. So this is our jugal bone. So we have the frontal, the prefrontal, the lacrimal, and then the jugal bone. Okay? Here we have the postorbital. This bone here is the postorbital, and this makes up the postorbital bar, which is the sort of the ridge behind the orbit here. This is the orbit. Okay, here we have the supratemporal fenestra. Here we have the infratemporal fenestra. So these two holes here, right, is what makes this a diapsid, two holes. Right, this here is the singular parietal bone. So the parietal bone is fused. This is the singular parietal bone. And then this is the squamosal bone. So this is the squamosal, which is homologous to the temporal bone in mammals. So we have frontal, parietal, squamosal, postorbital. All right, and if we look at sort of a dorsolateral view here, we can see the jugal bone here, the quadrate bone here, and then this bone in between the quadrate and the jugal. This one here is the quadratojugal. So we have jugal, quadratojugal, quadrate, quadratojugal, jugal. Right? Then if we go ahead and we look at the lateral view, we can see the lower jaw here is broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4 bones. Okay, so this one here is the dennary bone. This is the dennary bone. It's the one that houses the teeth. So this is the dennary bone. Here we have the surangular. This is the surangular. And then over here we have the angular. Look, the angular makes up the angle of the lower jaw. So this is the angular. And then we have the articular here. This is the articular, right? So we have dentary, surangular, angular, and then articular. And notice that the jaw joint in the crocodilian is made up of the quadrate and the articular. So the quadrate articulates with the articular. All right? Now if we flip this over and we look at a ventral view, we can see up here is the premaxilla. Then here we have the maxilla. So premaxilla, maxilla. Then back here we have the palatine. This is the palatine bone. Okay. Here we can see the pterygoid bone. So this is the pterygoid bone, and it has the internal nares here. Okay, so this is the pterygoid. And then lateral to the pterygoid, this bone here is the ectopterygoid. And we can see the ectopterygoid in a lateral view. If we open up the jaw there, right, this is the ectopterygoid. So ectopterygoid, then we can spin that around, right, and that articulates with the pterygoid. So pterygoid and then ectopterygoid. If we look at the posterior view, what we're going to see, let's go ahead and zoom out here. What we're going to see is that we have the occipital is broken up into the supraoccipital, the x-occipital has the foramen magnum and the occipital condyles. Then we have the basi-occipital, and then this small bone right here underneath or ventral to the basi-occipital, this is the basisphenoid. So basisphenoid, basi-occipital, x-occipital, supraoccipital, and those are the bones of the alligator skull.